Yes, boss. See the topic, man. Winning all the time can never be always a good thing. Now, if you never heard of this before, I'm going to bust it down, make it real easy for you. So here's the deal. In life, nobody's not saying winning is a bad thing. Winning is very good. But when you're winning all the time, it's like winning doesn't really have like a meaningful point at that time. You get what I'm saying? Because if you win all the time, winning is nothing to you. If you lose all the time, you catch a W, it's like, oh my gosh, I finally got a W. You get what I'm saying? You can capitalize on that. But if you're winning all the time, I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, but you can just chalk it up. When a person's winning all the time, it's like you're not really being challenged. So I'll give you an example with that, right? Let's say this is very common. You know how when some kids go to school, the parents send them off, whether elementary, middle school, whatever, and then they find out, oh yeah, your son or your daughter, they're advancing. It's like they're not being challenged, so we're gonna have to move them on up to the next grade. Or before they even do that, they have to speak with the parents to get that consideration. You get what I'm saying? To challenge the child. Because why? You're basically winning right now. You're winning. You're knocking out all your math assignments, all the reading assignments, whatever. You're not being challenged. So what it is that we give you or whatever you're facing, it's like saying, dog, this is like small time to me. You feel me? Give you another example into that. Look at when you play sports. If this is very easy, I'll make it super easy, bro. If the Kansas City Chiefs were supposed to play, I'm going to make it super easy. I'm not trying my team, dog. If the Kansas City Chiefs were to play the Miami Dolphins all the time, right? Where is the challenge in that for the Chiefs, bro? They don't really got a challenge. Mahomes could throw circles around Dolphins defense all day long. I'm not saying Dolphins defense won't do something. But what I'm saying is if a team like Kansas City expects to be better, be greater, you're not going to get to that level of greatness playing a sorry-ass team like the Dolphins. And before anybody gets slick, I could talk about the Dolphins. That's my team, all right? I'm loyal like that, all right? I could talk about them. But it's just being truthful, dog. You can't expect for someone to be challenged or expect for them to rise or thrive if they're not being met with their match. It's just like the famous saying, iron sharpens iron. You can't expect to get this big-time boxer to level up with his stats if you keep putting them up against like little weak opponents. You get what I'm saying? Hence what I'm saying, winning all the time, it can't be really a good thing. You feel me? And I'm going to explain something a little bit more, right? When you really think about it, a person who wins all the time, you're not being challenged. You're not being met with your competition. Therefore, that can either lead you to a state of being comfortable. You don't want to push harder. You're stuck with the winning. Let me tell you something. It's just like, I'll give you another example. I'm going to kill this whole topic. Look at some of these kids who, I play football at a prep school. Yeah, we're like number one. Go play some of these schools in the hood. Playing prep school and playing in the hood is two different things. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying some prep schools can't ball like that. That's not true. There are prep schools that could really play. But what I'm saying is for kids who are playing in like this prep school or this well-built establishment, oh yeah, gentlemen, go out there and get the W. Go play some of these kids from the hood like Northwestern and Central and Booker T at some of these schools. Kids that's in the trenches. Because why? I'm coming out here to prove something. Because this is all I have. You get what I'm saying? You cannot expect to rise to the occasion or go up the chain of command if you're not being challenged, dog. Why do you think some of these kids where, they coming out of the hood, they go out there some of these games, they put up big numbers or they ball, or because this is all they have, I need a shot to get out of here. Versus some kids who might be in a prep school where you come from money or you already come from an establishment that you're already good. These are for kids who, I don't got nothing, so I'm going to go out there every night and I'm going to give it all of this I have. Because guess what? Probably I go home to no lights at the crib or no food in the fridge. You get what I'm saying? You winning all the time, it's never a bad thing. But you have to understand that when a person wins all the time, you're not really being challenged like that. So in order for you to meet your match, you have to give a person somebody who can give them a run for their money. You get what I'm saying? Put up a person against somebody, yo, look, I'm on the same type of time as you. So example, when I said the Kansas City Chiefs, you can't expect the Chiefs to get better playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins will get better playing the Chiefs, though. I'll tell you that. You got to put the Chiefs up against somebody like the Eagles or another team that could give them a run for their money. You got to understand this, right? If you want somebody to be the best, or you want them to rise to the occasion of be marked as, yo, I'm one of the best, you have to go out there and compete with the best. You get what I'm saying? That's just like, look at that movie, Friday Night Lights. Who was the number one team in that movie? Dallas Carter. Dallas Carter trashed every team that they played. Dallas Carter got met when they had to go up against Permian. Even though Permian lost to a BS call, this is what I'm talking about. Dallas Carter would have walked over any team as long as they were not on their type of time. And this is what you have to understand in life, right? Why I said winning all the time is not necessarily the greatest of thing, right? When you win all the time, you can tend to get comfortable. When you're comfortable, somebody's gonna what? Catch you slipping. You get what I'm saying? Because why? You're not being challenged, or you don't deem anybody as, I don't see any of you guys. I don't see any of these other teams. You got to understand, winning is never a bad thing. Iron sharpens iron. But at the same time, if you want somebody to really be the best, you got to put them up against people that, yo, you could give me a run for my money. Give you an example. Let's say a kid who could play basketball and shoot the lights out. Yo, how did you learn how to play so good? How do you not know? If his parents didn't send him to AAU tournaments, or, yo, we have you playing basketball with grown men. You get what I'm saying? That's how you stack somebody up, or, yo, I'm going to get you advanced from early. You got to put people into difficult situations, or not necessarily say difficult, but you have to give somebody a challenge. Even though certain things may come off as it's unfair, or I'm just too small, I can't play against the bigger kids. That's where grit is built. And I'm going to give you an example into me, right? My first time playing football, this is when I was not really understanding of the sport. This was when baseball was all I knew, right? My mom signed me up for this Optimus League in like Miramar, East Side. It was called the Swab Jaw Steelers, right? At that age group, I was supposed to be playing what, 135s when I was in middle school. Didn't make weight. So what happened was they said, yo, if you're not going to be able to make weight, so what we're either going to have to do is you're going to have to lose weight, or we're going to send you to 155 pounds. They sent me to 155 with the big boys. You get what I'm saying? So I'm out there 11 years old, 12 years old, playing with kids that's like up there, like probably like 14, 15, maybe 16, about to go on and try their hand at the next level at JV or varsity. You get what I'm saying? Those are the kids I was playing against. When I was playing against some of those kids, it taught me something. Me playing lineman for a higher weight class and older kids, it taught me to, yo, even if I'm not in my weight class, I'm still learning and being amongst the bigger kids. So I get to learn stuff. I get to see how you play. I get to see how you block. I get to see how you move. These are certain things. I'm not saying I couldn't have never learned this from 125 or 135 pounds. But what I'm saying is, when you're amongst the older kids or somebody more advanced or has more time on you, you can learn a lot from them people. You get what I'm saying? That's the purpose of you taking advantage of these opportunities. So example, if you're a person who, yo, I like to play basketball, I like to play football, and you have aspirations to go to the league, or, yo, I want to make it out of the hood, I dare you and I'm challenging you, dog. If you want to get to that level, you cannot get there playing around with people who cannot give you that time a day or that run for your money, or somebody who could really make you compete. You want to know when you're going to really get your money's worth or get your reps in? When you're playing against somebody who you know you're not on their level. Example, if you're like a horrible basketball player and you run into a dude who on some Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade. You may not be able to get up with him right then and there, but if you linger around him and you keep playing around him, guess what? Eventually you're going to get better, dog. You feel me? Give you an example into this, right? Why I said winning all the time, it can sometimes be bad. I will never forget this, dog. This game happened actually when I was in middle school or high school. Look at the NFL, right? I will never forget it. The Chicago Bears, when they had Jay Cutler and he was playing pretty decent. The Brian Urlachers. I will never forget this, dog. The Bears were 7-0. They said the Bears are scheduled to face the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins who won just one game that season. Dolphins were 1-6. You know what the Bears players were saying? I will never forget this. Oh, that's an easy game. We 8-0 after that. That's what they thought. Because they thought, yo, man, the Dolphins are nothing. They're not going to do anything. We're not worried about them. Wrong. From you winning all the time and not really playing against people in your bracket all the time, you chalk it up. I'm comfortable. We could sleep this week. We don't have nothing to worry about. Wrong. You got to understand something. Winning all day long, it could be a good thing. And like I said, it could be a bad thing. It can cause you to get comfortable. And like I said, if you're getting caught comfortable, somebody's looking to catch you slipping. So I can take something from you. Or you got caught off guard. Or I caught you at the perfect moment. Because you got to understand this. When you're a person who wins all the time, there's a big target on your back. There's a lot of people who know, man, this dude don't never lose. Or this person such and such, they don't know what it's like to take a L. So there's a lot of people plotting on your downfall. There's a lot of people who probably deemed you as a winner. So it's like, yo, I gotta see if I can catch him slipping. Let me see if I can get that boy his first L. There's a lot of people who move like that. You get what I'm saying? And you gotta understand it like this. In life, even though you may feel like there are some people out here in the world, they don't really think like that. That's a lie. There are people who think like that. There are people who think like this. There are people who want to catch you slipping. You win all day long, I'd love to give you an L. That's how some people think. So you got to understand this in life, right? If you're a person who wins all the time, I'm not saying winning is a bad thing. Winning can be very good. But you got to understand something. If you're not getting the proper type of competition or the proper person who can make you compete or push to your limits, you're going to get comfortable. You're going to get comfortable with playing against people who can't give you a run for your money. Going up against people who you're not on my type of time. And that's where people could get this confidence and this cockiness like, you're not on my level. You're not on my level until you meet somebody who could give you that type of time. You feel me? Never underestimate your opponent. I say that all the time. Look at the Bible. David and Goliath. Who was Goliath? Goliath was a giant. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna see me? Nobody. Who you sending to come after me? Little David? You small. That's the problem. You got to understand something. Just because somebody is small or, you a nerd or you ain't in the streets, stop it. There's somebody out there that's going to give you a run for your money, dog. And guaranteed, they're probably not on the same type of time as you. You get what I'm saying? I tell you this story all the time. O'Neal used to underestimate me and think, nigga, you pussy, you small, you not going to do nothing. Wrong. I've been studying you for years. I've been waiting for this moment, low-key. You get what I'm saying? So you got to understand something. If you believe I've been winning all day, I'm not going to catch an L or somebody's not going to do something to me, or wrong. Anybody can catch an L, bro. Today for you, tomorrow for me, dog. Winning all day long doesn't mean that you're going to win forever. Winning all day long and you're not being met with the proper type of competition or resistance or pushback, how do you expect to get better and continue your wins, dog? It's going to get to a point where you can catch an L because you're not being faced with competition. And as I stated before, if you never heard me state it, losing is not a bad thing, bro. Losing allows you to learn. If you can see what your mishaps were, what you failed at, you know how to prepare for the next time so you don't get caught slipping like that. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I use them to uplift you because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser. Remember this. Winning all the time is not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. But if you're winning, that's always good. Just make sure if you're in competition or you have finals or whatever the case may be, that you trying to win, Your wins are not something that I won against somebody who wasn't a worthy opponent, or I won against somebody who they're not as well built or well established, or that's not a real W. A real W comes when you got to put in that work and your back is against the wall. That's when you see what you're made of, dog. That's a real W. You get what I'm saying? There's no real weight to a W that gets given all the time, especially if you're going up against people who's not worthy or on that same type of time. A real W is worth it either after you've been catching nothing but L's. You never know what it's like to catch a W, or this is somebody who they probably beat you before, now I got the opportunity. That's when a W is worth it, dog. But winning all day long, there are pros and cons towards that. You get what I'm saying? 140 for the world. Peace.